Why, hello. I didn't see you there. Now you see, in a world where there were only boys under the age of 12, now that's where the story begins. You see, in a treacherous attempt to escape the dangers of World War II, a plane crash landed on an island. These group of boys, they were left there on that island, alone to deal with the hardships that the life they had made left before them. Ralph, the leader of the group, the first one to take charge, was trying to create a stable living environment for all his little friends. But Jack, the leader of the choir boys, no. He creates a love and need for power and control. Now he develops a jealousy towards Ralph. You know why? Because Ralph was leader. You know why Ralph was leader? Because they voted him leader.
One of the meanings behind this text is be careful what you wish for. And that's because in the beginning of the story, the boys were so excited about being on this island without adults. They were free to do whatever they wanted. But then they realized that adults were kind of important and they were all gonna die.
So the apples on the tree represent a metaphor of the characteristics that everyone sees from Jack to the characteristics that are more hidden. The fresher and brighter apple at the top, which everyone wants, represents the characteristics that people automatically think of Jack. These are the apples that are the most paid attention to, just like those are the qualities that Jack had that were the most paid attention to by most of the people on the island. For example, they thought of Jack as a hunter, a leader, brave, responsible, and that he knew what he was doing. But on the other hand, the apples on the bottom of the tree are the apples that are just rotten and people look over them and they don't want them. Just like the qualities of Jack that people look over and actually show his true colors. In reality, you could say he was irresponsible, a savage, violent, or even a killer.
Hitrolap, short for How to Read Literature Like a Professor. The secondary book that we read this summer along with Lord of the Flies. So, right here, in the first chapter that we were assigned to read in, the chapter was called Nice to Eat With You. You know, Jack in this book uses multiple times the pig feast as a way to lure the other boys away from Ralph. Now for an example from How to Read Literature Like a Professor. What if we see two people having dinner, but then one of them is plotting or bringing about the demise of the other? Well, in that case, our revision at the act of murder is reinforced by our sense that a very important property, namely that one should not do evil, but to one's dinner companion is being violated.
Things are not always as they seem. Sometimes the most beautiful and vibrant butterflies are the most poisonous and deadly. This butterfly represents the deceiving setting of Lord of the Flies. At first glance, the island looks free and beautiful and inviting. Throughout the book, the boys realize that the island is really haunting, isolated, and deceiving.
This book was written in 1952, which actually took place right after the bombings in the Japanese islands, which actually suggested that there was a continuation of World War II or the start of World War III. So these boys were obviously leaving their homes of England to go to a new place to kind of get away from the war. Throughout the book, the boys discuss that they believe that having adults on the island with them would actually help their situation out, but overall, they realized that the adults wouldn't help at all. Because these kids, the island changes the kids and the islands would change the adults just as much. So this book at the very end suggests that when they get picked up from the island and they go back to their homeland of England, they're leaving this island that is full of violence and cruelty and death, and they're going back to a land that just got over a war that was violent and cruel and caused a lot of deaths to a lot of people.
This text holds a lot of meaning behind it because it shows the inner war between civilization and savagery. Throughout the book, the boys constantly deal with staying young boys that they've always been since they were kids, or dealing with the inner war within themselves to give in to the wild and essentially lose their minds.
So the aha moment in this book is that the boys thought the beast was a physical creature on the island.
But really, it was just their inner fears.
Why, hello. I didn't see you there.
Thank you for watching.
Subscribe.